Welcome back, folks. We are speaking to Linda Czipo, who is, in fact, the president and CEO of Center for Nonprofits. Good to talk to you, my friend.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
The impact of the coronavirus, long-term impact, we're taping in April, beyond this, on not-for-profit organizations. Please share.
This is a really challenging time, unprecedented to people who've been in the field for decades. We've got a situation right now, of course, we're dealing with the immediate effects. And the nonprofits who are still providing direct services to people who demand is spiking, doubling, tripling. So you've got the challenge of meeting the demand on one hand. You've got organizations that are they're reeling from the financial effects already. Some of the issues are the fact that some organizations have had to cancel programs, events that they relied on for huge swaths of their budget. People that they were relying on for donations are now out of work or will be soon. Significant layoffs are already happening in the nonprofit community, and nonprofits are already reporting staggering losses of revenue. So across the board, if you're looking at financially, the human toll, the need to try it, we've dealt through so many different crises before, but this one is so different in terms of how you would normally address things. You can't come together in the same ways. You can't provide services in the same ways. It's much more challenging on so many levels, and the impact is expanding exponentially every day.
Yeah, let's talk about that impact. By the way, we're a nonprofit. We're part of Linda's organization, as so many other not-for-profits, public broadcasting, a not-for-profit entity as well. But don't confuse not-for-profit with the fact that you don't have a bottom line. You don't have to make your budget. You don't have to bring in money and not spend as much money. Who, in terms of the nonprofits and who we're serving, who is most vulnerable in terms of our population to not-for-profits, or because of not-for-profits struggling and being in trouble financially?
Well, certainly, there are a lot of different segments here, and it really is. There's a lot of vulnerability across the board, but certainly marginalized communities of color, people in poverty, low-income people, all sorts of populations that nonprofits serve every day. Those are people who are especially vulnerable. Certainly people who are catching the virus, and people who, healthcare workers, patients, all of that. But this cuts across so many different things. And you've also got so many different pre-existing needs that are still there. So even if the virus isn't hitting them directly, people with disabilities, people in nursing homes, of course, are getting hit very hard.
Sure.
So there's so many different facets to this. And the other thing that is important to keep in mind is you talked about nonprofits not meaning no profit, and that's really, really important. But for years, nonprofits have been living on really, really thin margins because they have been so chronically underfunded. The things that you don't blink about when for-profits need to invest in, their technology, their infrastructure, research and development, planning, good, high quality and sufficient staff. All of these things, nonprofits have been underfunded for years. So that positions them even more precariously in terms of their ability to bounce back, to recover, to weather through. And a lot of organizations, this has been hitting organizations of all sizes in horrible ways already.
Question, we're taping in April. Say this program is seen in May, June, July. The role of government, federal and state government, in supporting not-for-profits, but more importantly, the people who need the services of not-for-profit. Describe that role. How are we doing? What do we need to do?
The government's role in this is absolutely critical. And the issue here is that government relies on nonprofits to provide all sorts of services. And nonprofits do this day in, day out. Nonprofits are great partners with government. So you can think about group homes or shelters or you can go on and on.
Community food banks.
Community food banks, absolutely. They are absolutely on the front lines right now, and that's not going to stop. The job training, and more and more people are going to be turning to nonprofits as their own situations become more distressed. Government funding for nonprofits now, in terms of the relief bills, it's absolutely vital that nonprofits not be left out of this, because people and government are going to be looking more and more for nonprofits to provide those solutions in the communities, to bring communities back. And the relief bills that have been passed so far have been very, very helpful, but it's clear just from the scope and magnitude of this problem that much, much more is going to be needed. And that can take the form of direct grants, it can take the form of access to low cost or forgivable loans. And it also means trying to incentivize people to give. All of
That's
these
right.
things are really, really important, and they're needed yesterday, quite honestly.
To our friend Linda Czipo, and who is the the president CEO of the Center for Nonprofits, for all the other nonprofits like the Caucus Educational Corporation, our friends in public broadcasting, all of us, we count on you. We support you. We're all in this together. And anyone who thinks that not-for-profits or that's some charity thing, it's about all of us. It's about people that we serve every day. So Linda, thank you for the work you're doing. We'll continue the conversation moving forward. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm Steve Adubato. Stay safe. We'll catch you next time.
State of Affairs with Steve Adubato is a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation. Funding has been provided by Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, Frank J. Guarini School of Business at St. Peter's University, the Turrell Fund, supporting Right from the Start NJ, the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, New Jersey Board of Public Utilities, Clean Energy Program, New Jersey Sharing Network, Summit City MD, Operating Engineers, Local 825, St. Joseph's Health, and by these public-spirited organizations, individuals, and associations committed to informing New Jersey citizens about the important issues facing the Garden State, and by Employers Association of New Jersey. Promotional support provided by NorthJersey.com and Local IQ, and by Meadowlands Chamber.